Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video, and today I'm doing a tier list. Tier list? Tier list? Tier list. Tier list. I give up with English. Anyway, tier list. There we go, got it. Took me a while. Anyway, we're doing a tier list on all the plant cards for premium set rares. So, these are cards that you'll get at least one of these in every premium pack. It's guaranteed. But, yeah, they're decent-ish. Not the best, but there's some alright cards in this. So, let's go over them. Do you know what this is going to do? You know, Frenchman's been reacting to a lot of my pack opening videos, and you probably notice how the ones near the bottom I get rid of a lot, and he's just been complaining at me for getting rid of them a lot. So, yeah, time to prove to the Frenchman why I got rid of those cards. And we're doing it in this video. Let's begin. So, in D tier, these are the worst. There's only really 3 of them that are the worst, and we'll begin with Sage. This card is just awful. First of all, you've got to wait until turn 6 for its ability to actually, function, which is just a liability. You don't want to draw 1 card at turn 6. Like, you want to draw more. And plus, that's not even what the solo class is about. Like, when has the solo class been a card draw class? I don't know. But yeah, its ability is crap, to say the least. It's got bad stats for a 2-cost, so a 2-1. Not good stats for a 2-cost. Like, take example with like Galacticactus in another class. That's a 2-2 bullseye on turn 1. So much better than Sage. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Sage. It's crap, and you should never use it in any deck ever. Next we have Petalmorphosis. Oh my god, this is so bad. This is the worst card on the list, by the way. Why is this bad? Well, first off, it's a 4-cost transform into a random plant. So it's unreliable. You could get a Pushroom, or you can get, I don't know, Weenie Beanie. Or you could get Sage. Because that's a good thing, isn't it? So yeah, it costs too much for what it does. However, if you're a lucky bastard, then you might actually get something good from this. AKA AI. Moving on, Lightning Greed. This does not do enough for a 2-cost. Like, come on, it does 1 damage splash. Sorry, where's our boy Snapdragon? 4-cost splash damage 3. Like, that's so much better. I feel like the splash damage cards aren't really that great in this game, except from Snapdragon. That's like the only good one that I can think of for the plants. Yeah, it seems to be it. It's just not good. It's got 2 health as well, so it's removed quite easily. And 1 damage isn't that great for a 2-cost, let alone 1-cost, unless it's bullseye. So yeah, it's not that great. It's going to proc the block as well for the zombie era. So it's not even going to... If anything, it's going to help them. Moving on to the C tier, we have Lawnmower. Now, this looks pretty good because it's a 4-cost destroyer zombie. But the liability of it is it only works on the ground lanes. And if they've got a big minion that is important in the water lane or the heights lane, then you can't really do much because Lawnmower can't go on those lanes. Which is where it's kind of bad. Squash is way better, and that's a basic card. At least Squash, you have the ability to just remove anything. Like, I'd see Lawnmower as a 3-cost being a bit better. Maybe. Depends. And also, if they've just got loads of big threats, like, at turn 4, I can think of how they've got loads of threats. Like, I'm thinking of Zemek Swarm, and he's just put Flag Zombie down on turn 2, maybe. And, let's say you're playing a solo flight, you don't get your Berry Blasts. And then he just, he's swarming all the minions down. Then you get to turn 4. Oh, you got a Lawnmower. But then you've got all, the little guys down. Probably going to go for the flag. But then he plays the big Yeti boy. What's his name? It's a big Yeti. He has a stone lunchbox. I forgot what he's called. Anyway, he's going to play that, and then there's loads of big threats. And you might as well concede at that point. So it's unreliable because it can't always hit the target you want. I mean, if it's on heights, then you can't. And also the fact that this can be quite useless sometimes because they can have multiple threats. So yeah. If they do play one big minion on the floor, then it's good. But I don't use it. It's quite trash. Navy Bean is next. Now, it buffs all of your amphibious cards. I'm just going to get this over and done with. Amphibious cards suck. Well, the majority of them. Like, I think one of the only good amphibious cards is Admiral Navy Bean. Because that has a good ability. Also, it has Team Up, which is a little bit unfair. But still, you know what I mean. Amphibious cards in this game suck. I only just remembered that Lightning Greed is amphibious. Oh yeah, you're gonna buff Lightning Greed. It doesn't buff its splash damage. Oh, you're gonna buff Cattail. Oh, cool. It's probably already dead by Bungie on turn 3. Oh, what else are you gonna buff? Oh, some random bean. Yay. I mean, maybe Bean Nexus is fine. So it'll buff your Admiral Navy Beans, but I don't know. Really. Not all beans are amphibious. I feel like if this was completely different, like it buffed all your beans, maybe, then it'd be fine. Because then it'd actually be at least, buff. You could put this in a deck. You can actually use this with beans. Because you could swarm your beans down. You got your Admiral Navy beans doing damage. And then you put this down, all your beans are strong. That would actually be really good. I actually wish they did that. Instead of just make it a piece of crap. Super Fat Beats. Now, this does look pretty good and actually can grow very, very, very strong. But it's a little bit expensive because it can always be destroyed by rocket science. And depending on how much it grows, it can be killed by exploding fruitcake. And I don't know. It's 6. So it's a late game card that essentially is only good if they've got loads of minions down, because it gets 1/1 for every plant and zombie, or is it just zombies? Or is it just plants? When played, this gets for each other... Yeah, it's both. So I suppose if you've got loads of big guys down, maybe before, and maybe you play this. I don't know, this card does look really good. Like, come on. But sometimes this isn't going to grow to the big enough size. And if, you're playing against a control deck where it's removing all of your minions and they're not playing zombies, then there's just nothing that this Super Fat Beats can actually do. So yeah, it's not that useful, but I get why this looks good, honestly. But yeah. Next is Sour Grapes. This is just... This is only really good in berry decks, other than berry decks is a piece of trash, because 1 damage really doesn't do that much in this game. It's also a 4-cost 2/2, so it's bad stats, and does a bad ability. Everything you want in a crap card. Next is Smacademia. But no, that's good! Sorry, that was my Frenchman impression. For some reason, he really hated me when I got rid of this card. So I'm sitting down here right now and telling him why it's not good. First of all, it is basically a 4/6, which, I don't know, they're not the worst stats in the game, but there certainly are better 5-drops in this game. What's an example? Whipvine. That's not the best card, but I don't know, it has a better ability. What else you got? Power Flower, that's so much better. Astrocado, even cards that cost less than it are still good. And to say its ability is just to add health to your nuts is not really the best thing. What, you're gonna add health to a walnut? Oh, wait a minute. What's that horsey trick? Oh, get this right. You're putting down all your nuts, right? Just walnuts, blocking every lane, stopping those pesky zombies from doing damage to your face. Oh, you put down Smacademia. Oh, cool, cool. Wait a minute. He's got Reed Spray. He just got rid of all the nuts except from Smacademia. And plus it only does 4 damage on turn 5, which really isn't much. So, not only is it making all of your nuts just even weaker to Rolling Stone, unless you have 3 nut, but yeah. It's not that great. Also, it's another amphibious card, so you can buff it with Navy Bean. Yeah, fuck off. Right, next is Prickly Pear. So, I don't know. This can be alright sometimes. Like, you just stick this in front of a zombie, and they do damage to it, does 4 damage. It's outclassed by Crocodile, the 4 costs 4/3 amphibious. That's so much better because at least it does 4 damage to the zombie or face. I mean, it can be used as an aggro card, but so not only is Crocodile doing 4 damage to that zombie, if it dies, it'll do another 4 damage. So it basically does 8 damage, which is a little bit OP. This only does 4 damage when it's hit, so it's not that great. But yeah, so I don't like it. It's a liability. Also, again, it's weak to Rolling Stone and Weed Spray. Chili Pepper. Meh. I'd say in freeze decks, only use like 2 of these or 3, because I mean, it's a very weak card, but his ability is fine if you've got Winter Squash down. Only then is it a little bit decent, but there's better ways of freezing minions quickly. Like Iceberg Lettuce is just a 1 cost freeze. Like, that's all you need. And if they're playing a load of grades, you can't really use this, which is why then it's outclassed by what's it called? It's that bean that freezes old gravestones. Can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's a Star Wars reference to Han Solo and Carbonite. But yeah. Yeah. Why can't I just my brain just died for a second there. I'm sorry. Right. What are we moving on to? Why is Super Fat Beats there? Go away. Right. Moving on to the B tier, we have Hibernating Berry. So, this card has a lot of health for a free drop, I will admit that. And I don't know, I like its ability. I think it can be a little bit strong sometimes. But then again, it's got that same problem. It dies to Rolling Stone and Weed Spray when it's played, if they've got extra brains left over. Yeah, it's a little bit sad. But if they don't have that, then it's going to be really hard for them to remove it. Especially since if you're going against like a crazy hero like... what's a crazy hero that can't really remove this? Say... maybe Infinity, since he doesn't really, except from Exploding Fruitcake, which doesn't even kill this, he doesn't really have the best ways of getting rid of it, really, except from Fruitcake, which don't even kill it, because, he doesn't have rocket science like Professor, or he doesn't have destroying stuff like Boogaloo. Infinity's quite weak against this. But even then, Infinity can probably get rid of it with Bungee Plumber. Bungee Plumber? Why do I think Bungee Plumber? Pogo Bouncer, sorry. Why do I get those two mixed up? I feel I'm gonna probably just take a moment with my brain after this, I'm gonna pull it out of my head and just whack it in the oven for a bit and fry it. And maybe I'll get a bit smarter. Or I'll get dumber. Or I just die. I don't really mind either way. But yeah, Hibernating Berry, it's alright. It's not great though. Which is why I don't have any copies of it. Next we have Raka Zombie. So, Meh. Sometimes there's zombies that are gonna have more than 3 damage on turn 3. And like, what's an example? They can play, trying to think of a 3-cost zombie with like 4 strength. I can't think of any. There'll be one out there that I can't put my finger on. But yeah, you get the point. So, turn 3 though, there's not many 4 damage zombies, I don't believe. So this card is fine. Like, 3 drop like Wormhole Gatekeeper. It's a pretty strong card with its stats, but can be removed by hammer on that turn. Also the same with what's that other card? Drone Engineer. If it's being played on turn 2, it's gonna go to 2 damage because it hit face maybe, or it doesn't actually have to hit face, does it? So then it's a 2/4, and you can get rid of it. So Wrecker Zombie's fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Wait, why is Chili Pepper here? Go away. Get the weak stuff out of here. Poison Oak is next. Right. This card is really hard for me to talk about. And this was the hardest card to rate for me, in my opinion. Because on one hand, this card can be devastatingly powerful because it does so much damage. But on the other hand, it's quite trash. So, let me talk about the good things about Poison Oak. So, first of all, this is probably the best with the captain. I don't know what you were expecting, because he has bonus attacks. So, turn 7, you can pull off a 9 damage combo, which isn't bad, but you can do way better with the captain. Like, say Repeat Moss, for example, that's way better. You can do a turn 6, 18 damage. Or you can do 24, like I did in my short the other day. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. It's a cool short. So yeah, you can do way better. But Poison Oak just, I don't know, it does 9 damage to face on turn 6, which isn't bad. Like, it isn't amazing, but it's fine. I wouldn't use this in Aggro Captain Combustible, however, because it's a little bit late. But if you don't have, some Repeat Mosses, if you don't have Banarsos Rexes, then I suppose you could use this. I really do think Captain's probably the only good hero for Poison Oak, and Poison Oak isn't even that great. Like, yeah. There's another combat you can do, but it requires the zombies to use all of their brains on turn 6, which sometimes happens. It's mainly turn 5 when they use all their brains, which is why B-Rex is better, because it's 4 cost, and other cards are better. But yeah, turn 6, let's say they play all their brains, and you put this down with Blazing Bark, that is 10, 11, 12, 13 damage, which honestly is pretty powerful, but again, if they don't play all their brains, then it's kind of a lost cause, because they're gonna have a way to remove it probably, unless they're super brains and they don't have cut down to size. Unless they freeze it or deadly minions, they work on it too. So yeah, Poison Oak, it's fine. I wouldn't mind seeing this in an aggro deck with Captain Combustible. You don't have to use it with Captain Combustible, you can use it with other heroes like Solar Flare maybe. And what's that other hero? Spadao. But Spadao and Solar Flare, Poison Oak isn't as good with them because they don't have bonus attacks. Captain Combustible is just amazing because Kabloom has a lot of high attack minions. Like, we'll get to a 2-cost 4/1 after this. Captain's just amazing. I've already talked about Captain so many times, and it's just amazing. You can't go wrong with Captain Combustible. Who's the other Kabloom? Nightcap. It's not even good with Nightcap either. So yeah, it's just Captain you're really using this card with. And even then it gets outclassed. But it's fine. I actually like the card. And it has won me some games once. Like once with Spadao. This was at the start of the game when I was still using seedlings. And I put a seedling down and it turned into a Poison Oak. And it just won me the game. because I kept berry blasting and meteoring everything in front of it, and it absolutely wrecked the opponent. It was a smash as well. Yep. So if you get this from Seedling, then you have won the game. But Seedling is trash. Anyway, moving on to Wild Berry. So this is actually a fine aggro card. The only weakness is that it moves to a random lane, which, I mean, fair dues. It's not good against Sumo, because you can't just play this in front of it because it'll move to another lane. You have to get lucky and put it in another lane for it to move in front of the Gravestone, so then it can get moved by Sumo. Which is why Split Pea is way better. But Wild Berry, if they play 1 minion on turn 2, like a 2 cost, you can just put this in front of that minion for it to move to go face. At least you have that, but it's outclassed by Split Pea in the Mega Grow class. So you don't really see this played much because of its weakness. But it does do a lot of damage for turn 2. So it has really good stats. It just doesn't have the best ability. Which is why I'm putting it in B. It's I don't know. It's alright. Next we have Ripvine. So it's a 5 cost 5/5. So it's decent stats. Not incredible, but I don't know. I've seen better. But I've also seen a lot of worse. So I'm not complaining about 5 cost 5/5. And its ability is quite good. Like, this, you can just pull a random zombie, or a zombie you want, into its lane. It's pretty much just gonna die. Or, you can play this to move it from a lane with, like, I don't know, you've got a B-Rex, or you've got another aggro card, maybe. Like, Poison Oak. But that strategy isn't that great. Actually, now that I think about it, you've got Poison Oak, right? You played it, it's done a bit of damage, and they put something in front of it. You get Ripvine to move out of the way and then just bonus attack with, like, Time to Shine. Why do I feel like that'd be good? I want to do that now. I will try it. I will make a captain deck with Poison Oak in it. And I will try to get use out of it. It'd be probably like a control deck, to be honest. Which, I mean, a Captain Combustible control deck sounds good, because he's got a lot of ways to control the enemy hero. So, maybe I'll try something with Ripvine and Poison Oak, because I think they might be good together. But yeah. Anyway, there's like a cheaper version of Whipvine, which is Sweet Pea. That might actually be better with Poison Oak now that I think about it, because then you can actually you know, play a plant food, which we'll get into at the end of the video. But yeah, Whipvine's fine, and it's alright. I like Whipvine. Next we have the Podfather. Probably the worst card on the B tier. Maybe. It's contending with Hibernating Berry, to be honest. But Podfather is kind of mess. So, first of all, it's a 3 cost 2/2, bad stats. It's going to get removed quite easily. And it's only really buffing your peas, because it only buffs your peas. And peas aren't that great. And also, those peas are, because, you know, they're getting buffed, they're going to be weak to rocket science and other stuff. And the Podfather on turn 4, after you played it, is still 2 health, so it can still die easily. So it really isn't that great. It's not like Podfather's even good with 3 Peter, because, you know, he does 3 damage in each lane then, and it's still weak to 6 Exploding Fruitcake. And it's weak to Pogo, because if you play a big P from it, like, I don't know, Wee Peter, you can get removed. You can play the Pogo in front of the Podfather and remove whatever the plant hero plays. So it's weak to removal, just anything. Bungee Plumber, Exploding Fruitcake, just anything really rips the shit out of it. But yeah, it's not a great. I wish it was better. Moving on to the A tier. Finally, we're getting to some good cards that are really, 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 really good. And the first one is Gravebuster. Against Gravestone decks, this is S tier. Just wait until turn 4. Or you don't have to wait until turn 4. You just play this on turn 4 onto the Gravestone. It's gonna be, or most likely gonna be, a Pogo. And then you're really far ahead. This is like, well, I wouldn't say it is the silver bullet to Pogo. There's way better ways of doing it. Like, actually, no, wait, I tell a lie. This is the silver bullet to Pogo. I was thinking about the other plan. What is it? It's a 4-cost 3/3 bullseye. It destroys our graves. I was thinking about that too, a mixed up Gravedigger. But yeah, this is just really good at game with the graves. Gets you quite ahead. Because depending on what turn it is, they're probably going to play at 1 gravestone. And then if they play 2 gravestones on turn 4, then it's probably just going to be like Monkey Pirates or Swashbuckler, other stuff. On turn 3, it could be just Swashbuckler and Trick, or it could be like, who's the guy, Landscaper, or that brainy card, Kite Flyer. Which, I mean, they aren't great cards, but probably want to get rid of Landscaper more, because it's a little bit annoying, but yeah, Gravebuster's really good. Against non-Gravestone decks, this is a piece of crap, which is why it's not in S tier. But yeah, this is a really good card to use in Gravestone decks. A good card to use in control decks. Moving on before I confuse the fuck out of myself. Right, Power Flower. Now, this is actually quite decent for Aggro Solar Flare. But, it's not as good as, like, Astrocado. But it's a fine card to get at the start of the game. This card really isn't that hard to get either, because it appears in the missions quite a lot. I think it appears in the plant missions for, like, Rose and... Maybe not Rose. No, it's not Rose. It's another solar hero. What's the Chompzilla, maybe? I think it appears for, like, Chompzilla and Solar Flare. Or it might be... What about Wall Knight? No, Wall Knight's Macadamia. Rose is Chili Pepper. Solar Flare's got the Power Flower. I actually don't know if it is for Chomba. I don't know. I'll have to just research that. But yeah, Power Flower, you can get it from Solar Flare at the end of her quests. Again, you might get this in a premium pack, because it's a guaranteed wear every time. So, yeah. And also, its ability is fine, especially with Aggro Solar Flare, because there are a few flowers in that deck, like Bloomerang, Elderberry, Blooming Heart. It's pretty good, actually. I really like this card. And I think it's fine for budget players. So yeah, if you're a budget player, don't be afraid to get your hands on Power Flowers. They will help you out a lot. Next, we have Jumping Bean. This isn't as good as Pogo, because Pogo, it's cheaper and it has similar stats, only 1 damage less. And also it's a Gravestone as well, so you can use it with mix up Gravedigger a lot. But however, Jumping Bean is still a really good card. Like, this just automatically just removes a zombie from the field, just with no hesitation. And this is sort of an aggro card, because it does 3 damage. You can just put this in front of another guy and bounce another guy, so you can basically get rid of 2 minions, which is fine. It's also a bean, so you can use it with your admirals as well. So it's fine, actually. I like this card. It's pretty decent, and its ability is good. Next, we have Admiral Navy Bean. This is really good. Like, really, really good. Especially if, you've got all your beads. With Admiral Navy Bean, it actually makes a basic card called Weedy Beanie actually good. Like, now that I think about it, maybe Weedy Beanie isn't F tier. Maybe on the same tier as, like, Backup Dancer. But that's not saying much. So yeah, this is a really good card. This does do a lot of damage to face. The fact this is also team up as well is maybe a little bit disgusting. Like, this is a 1 cost that just has so much. Like, you play a bean, 2 damage. It has team up. What more could you add to this card? Like, come on. It's also right, get this. It's also amphibious. Like, come on. This card has so much. I wouldn't say it is S tier because, again, it is 1 health. And also, if you don't play this in the amphibious lane, it is weak to the 1 cost environment trapper territory, but who plays it on the ground? But still, it's weak, but it's really good. Tough Beats. Now, I get why this isn't seen as good, because it doesn't always get what it needs, and it is weak to, like, Rocket and stuff, but I don't know, I've been having a lot of success with this card. Like, you're playing all your other aggro cards, and the zombies are playing their cards, and then, if you're lucky, you'll get a guy with loads of health. And against crazy heroes, which, they only really have ways to remove cards by doing damage, then it's a little bit annoying. But then again, there's Exploded Fruitcake. Exploded Fruitcake is an overpowered card. I think you've already gotten the gist of that by now, but I actually might, because of that, move Tough Beats down to B. Also, here are all my images. Very funny. Yeah, Tough Beats. I actually think it's B tier now that I think about it. Yeah, it's alright. It's not like you can play this into an environment. What's it called? I really don't remember environments. It's the 2 cost beastly environment that gives all plants in that lane -1 strength and health. It's not like you can play it in there because I'm pretty sure it just dies. But yeah, it's fine. Anyway, moving on to Repeat Moss. This is a really good card with 1 hero, Captain Combustible. Now, with Captain Combustible, you can do a lot of damage with this. First off, you can play this with Blazing Bark and Time to Shine to do 18 damage. Or you can do 24 damage, thanks to that combo in my short with Savage Spinach. But yeah, this can do a lot of damage. You can even just play Blazing Bark and what's it called? Embiggen together for 14 damage. So that's really good. Yeah, it doesn't really synergize with any other trick other than that. Great power maybe. It depends. But yeah, with every other hero, this is why it's not in S tier. If it wasn't for the other heroes, it would be an S tier. But because of the other heroes just absolutely sucking with this card, like, so bad, they just can't do anything about it. Especially Chompzilla. Just, no. Just don't use this with a Mega Grow heroes. Just use this with the Captain. Like, if Captain didn't have good superpowers, then, oh my goodness, this card would be F tier. But because of Captain Combustible just being an absolute god, this card is actually good. Right, S tier. There's only 2 cards I think are S tier. I'm going to go with a Shroom for 2 first. Shroom for 2 is really, really, really good. Like, so good. Now, I don't play this a lot because I don't really have mushroom decks yet. But, I don't know. I am definitely working on a mushroom deck for Nightcap. Like, I'm working on a, what's it called, Cycle Cap. That's where you use this card a lot. But Shroom for 2 is just, it's a good 1-drop, because it's 2 minions that are 1/1s, so if they've got a 2 health guy down, you're killing that guy, and then, you've only lost half of that with your little push room dying. In fact, you've lost no sum from it. Now you have a little 1 guy down, and if they don't answer this, or they don't play a minion, you just play this down, what do they do? Unless they have Trapper Territory, then they can't really do much. Now, this is fine with Bushroom, but that's not the way to go. What you want to do with Shroom for 2 is you want to have your Astro Shrooms down, and then you want to play this because it counts as 2 minions in 1. So then your Astro Shrooms are going to do a lot of damage because of it. So yeah, it's good for Pine Clone as well, because it's 2 minions as well for 1 drop. This has just always been just an amazing card. You can buff this with that Mega Grow card. I forgot its name. Lily of the Valley, which is an okay strategy. Or you can buff this if you put this on heights or an environment with that card from the Mega Grow. Why do I not remember? Vegetation Mutation, there it is. It takes me a couple seconds to remember them. But, you know, you get it with those 2. And then it's fine. But, yeah, Shroom for 2 has just always been a really, really good card. And finally, the best card in this entire tier list is definitely Plant Food. Why is this so good? Like, it's a 4-cost trick. So, you know, you can play a big minion like Zapicot, or you don't even have to do that. You could just have a big minion down, and you could just play this on the big minion to make it do a massive bonus attack. It just gets you ahead in games. Like, if you've got that big minion down, they put a minion in front of it, just bonus attack, and it basically kills everything they've put that turn. Like, there's just so much damage. It also gives them a 1/1, so it not only does it buff them, but you're going to do extra damage. This is really good as well. It's not as good, but, you know, if you've had the Repeat Moss, that's done a lot of damage, but it's not died. You just play this and it's doing 2 bonus attacks of just massive damage. Unless there's a Gravestone in front of it, and then it's kind of trash. But yeah, this card is just really good. This has won me so many games. Like, it's won me so many games, it's not even real. And this is just really good to include in every single Mega Grow deck in existence. There's not one deck without Plant Food that I have with Mega Grow. Just it's a must include card for any Mega Grow deck in the entire game. So yeah, definitely S tier, and definitely the best card on this tier list. So yeah, that was my tier list of the rares for the plants. I will do zombies next time, so I hope you're excited for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.